Hi folks, Jen here with the next in my installment of a book I recently read and what Betsy-Tacy book it made me think of, which I think I might need to come up with a somewhat catchier name. Oops, need to fix the volume there. So anyway, the book I read recently was Photograph by Brian Freeman. Brian is a mystery and thriller writer. He's been writing the Jason Bourne novels since that author has died. He's super talented, and I feel very attached to him because we're 1 degree away, because he is super best friends with my brother and sister-in-law in Minnesota. In any event, this is a standalone about a private investigator named Shannon Wells who is tasked by a new client. The client comes to her and says, I want you to figure out who I am, which is an intriguing premise. And I'm not going to tell you any more about what's going on there. It's a mystery thriller. I'm going to say it's a little murdery, which my best friend always says is a deal breaker because she's against murder. I too am against murder in real life, but fictional murders little bit different. I do like a mystery thriller, and I like Brian's books very, very much, and I really, really liked this one a lot. It's hard to talk about the plot of it because it's super twisty. Lots of things are revealed. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm going to say that a big question or premise of this book, or theme, I guess would be a better word, is identity. Who we are, what makes us who we are. Are we the person we were born to be, to the parents who gave us a specific name? Are we the career we thought we were going to have when we were young and ended up maybe doing something entirely different? Who are we? What makes us who we are? What is our identity? As I said, some murders. It's a little scary, very tense in parts. It kept me turning the pages, I want to tell you. So that may seem a really hard sell for, wow, how is this like a Betsy-Tacy book? But it's that word, identity, and those questions about who we are. Who are we fundamentally at our core? So I wonder if you can guess what Betsy-Tacy book that brought me to. But I'll tell you, it was this one. Betsy in Spite of Herself is the book where I think Betsy explores those questions most profoundly in the entire series. It's a book where she develops an entirely new persona to be, because she's so kind of fed up with being the same old Betsy that everybody knows. So she adopts this new personality. She's going to be dramatic and mysterious. She drops foreign phrases. She uses a heavy perfume. She's very, very glamorous. She's affecting sort of a world-weary attitude. She wants to be sophisticated, dramatic, mysterious. This is very unlike the down-to-earth, fun-loving, cheerful Betsy that her friends love. So I do monthly book discussions of the Betsy-Tacy books. We're on our 3rd go-round, and somebody once commented that we dive into these books with the intensity and focus of Talmudic scholars, which is a great line and very, very accurate. So we have come up with quite a few revelations about this particular book that are fascinating to ponder, and I want to share with you right now. So the first one is, the theme of this book very clearly is to thine own self be true, which is in fact the words Maud uses to open the book. Gorgeous words written by Shakespeare, as true then as they are now. Of course we must be true to our truest selves. Here's the thing. In this book, Betsy Ray is 16 years old. How well did you know your truest self when you were 16? I certainly did not. And one of the ways we find out who we fundamentally are is by trying different things, trying on different personas, trying different hobbies, interests, ways of being, ways of interacting with other people. We try, and some things stick and some things don't. That's part of figuring out who you are. And that's exactly what we see Betsy going through in this book as she struggles to be true to herself. And she's aided in this in 4 very different and important ways by 4 different and important characters. So the first 2 are Tacy and Cap, both of whom hold up a mirror to Betsy in a way that she needs, though they're different about it. Tacy loves Betsy exactly as she is and doesn't like to hear Betsy criticized, even by Betsy herself, and says those smart words to her. Betsy, did it ever occur to you that the better people know you, the better they like you? Meaning the way you are is wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. How silly you are to try to change that. You are wonderful. And how fantastically lucky Betsy is to have a friend like Tacy who can say those words to her and mean them wholeheartedly and make Betsy believe them. That's a wonderful best friend to have. Cap serves the same purpose, though he goes about it quite differently. He's more, what's gotten into you, Betsy, with her foreign phrases and her strong perfume and the green ribbons on everything? And he's just disgusted. What's wrong with the old Betsy? You were great the way you were. This blows, this new thing you're trying to be. So Cab is a wonderful and important friend too, loving her just how she is. Tib loves Betsy how she is, but her love of Betsy goes in a different direction. She thinks Betsy is so wonderful that anything Betsy suggests must be perfect because Betsy is perfect. And Betsy says we're going to shave our heads and wear boas to school. Tib's all, oh, I am so down with that. What a great idea, Betsy. You're the best. It is wonderful to have a partner in adventure like that, someone who'll go off on these mad flights of fancy with you, which Tacy, for all her wonderfulness, won't necessarily do every single time. But Tib is there. Tib is down. And so Betsy gets to explore and try new things with the support of Tib, who's also exploring and trying new things. So that's a very cool third member of this quartet. But the fourth one, a super important one, is her sister Julia, who's a little bit older, who has the benefit of some life wisdom, some perspective that Betsy's going to get to eventually. And Julia's just also a very savvy, smart lady. Julia's pretty cool. And Julia is the one who says, yeah, you tried some things and it didn't work, but you kept some of them. You're better groomed now. You are more poised. You have sweeter manners. You try things. And you drop what doesn't work and you keep what does work. And you know how to turn on the la-di-da now, should you find yourself needing it, which Betsy's shocked. How could I possibly need la-di-da? But no, Julia knows. You might. So Julia's very smart too. So that is... that's something I think about when I think about this book, is the ways that Betsy is trying to find her true self, trying to develop what her truest identity is. At 16, we know it's going to change a lot as she grows up, but some fundamental things are in place already, and that's cool to see too. Here's another thing, and this revelation, I'm going to say, is unique to me, but you tell me if you thought of it on your own too. The girl that Betsy's trying to be in this book, the girl she's kind of idealized in her mind as something she wants to be, is glamorous and world-weary, a little aloof, bored by things, sophisticated, not a friendly, warm girl at all. She's cool. She's very cool and mysterious. Who did I just describe, this glamorous, aloof, not super friendly girl? Because I just described a girl we're going to get to know pretty well in the next book. I just described Phyllis freaking Brandish. That's the ideal that Betsy has carved out for herself in this book, and we barely know her in this book. We meet her very, very briefly. She's a girl Betsy doesn't even like. It is very rare for Betsy Ray to come out and say the words, I don't like this person. Honestly, I can only think of one other time, and that's Helena's mother in Great World. Betsy dislikes some things about Mr. Gaston. She dislikes some things about Rocky, but I'm not sure she ever actually says in words, I don't like that person. The two people she doesn't like in the entire series are Phyllis Brandish and Helena's mother. Maybe Miss Erickson? I don't think so. Again, I think it's things about them. She doesn't say, I dislike that person. It's just very, very rare for Betsy. So this person she's idealizing in this book is someone she doesn't even like. So that's kind of fascinating too. Like, what makes this so appealing to her when it's really, really very unlikable in real life, which she comes to find out in the next book. And I wonder how much Maud was thinking about that and wondering if wonder if anyone will connect that particular dot. Like, oh yes, Maud, we pay attention, after reading the books 500 times over the course of 60 years. Yes. I did connect that dot. So those are some things to think about as you reread Betsy in Spite of Herself for the 10 millionth time. And again, I highly recommend Photographed by Brian Freeman if you're not put off by, a little murdery book. I read it in one sitting while I recovered from Mohs surgery. Big week for me. So check it out if it sounds appealing to you. Enjoy your umpteenth reread of Betsy in Spite of Herself. And hey, if you kept a diary when you were 16, why don't you take a little dip back in and see what clues were there to the you that you ultimately became? Because I think that would be an interesting exercise too. All right, that's it for me today. I will say bye for now, or as Betsy would say, auf Wiedersehen.